So before we get started with the video, I just want to say no, the title isn't clickbait. There will be some more mature themes discussed in the video, and there may be themes that some people will find disturbing or uncomfortable, so I just want to give a quick heads up. Later on, I'll give another warning, so if you aren't, so you can watch up to there. But besides that, yeah, let's get into the video, I guess. So those who have been following me for a while know that I usually post some sales or whatever on my community tab. So in this case, a couple of weeks ago, I think like 2 weeks ago or something, I posted a sale from Conjuring Arts Research Center. So it's a so it's basically this like library or whatever dedicated to researching magic and whatnot. So this Conjuring Arts Research Center actually had a sale regarding a brick of cards. So a brick is 12 decks, and it is a sale regarding a casino deck. And this casino deck is called the Lotus Casino, and there's basically this whole interesting ad copy behind it where the casino shut down and whatnot. I'll discuss the story later on, but it is like a very interesting story. So out of curiosity, I bought the brick, but before I bought the brick, I did my own research and I sort of tried to see what the whole deal about this was. And then when I got the brick, I discovered that there was a whole lot other like rabbit hole behind it. So I'll be talking about the story behind it with the ad copy, my original guess behind the casino stuff, and then I'll unveil like the entire story. So originally I was gonna do like a sort of review concerning these playing cards, but then I realized how dark the story was, so I decided to scrap the whole review and I decided to just concentrate on the story and concentrate on everything regarding the story of this deck. So I'll actually place a image right now and you'll see the ad copy for the deck of playing cards. You'll see that depending on which site is selling the deck, you'll see that they have a sort of different tweaks regarding the playing cards. But I'll link the Penguin Magic ad copy right over there. Now you'll see that the cards were printed in 2017, and they do say that it is an aristocrat back design with a Lotus design, but to me it actually looks more like a Bohemia flower, which is actually Hong Kong's national flower. So you'll see that there's a flower pattern which is somewhat similar to a Bohemia flower, and there's also 5 petals, which is again a Bohemia flower type of petal amount. So keep that in mind, and you'll see that it'll be relevant later on. There's also a standard non-casino retail B box. So again, this is just the normal B playing card tuck case. This is not like one of the special tuck cases where there's a clear window. This is just a normal B tuck case, which is interesting to say the least. It's almost like they didn't have enough time to prepare a different sort of tuck case for this deck. And as the ad copy stated, this was made for a casino in Asia, and since then the owner has been blacklisted from by the US government, and they aren't allowed to do any more sales in the US. And basically, generally, they were just hyped up to be the next Jerry's Nugget in terms of history. They didn't really hype it up in terms of like feel, because as playing card people know, Jerry's Nuggets were valuable because of how they felt, not because of necessarily of the history. But here they're really hammering it in that these are like the equivalent to Jerry's Nugget in terms of history, in terms of like how like desirable they will be in a couple of years, and how the price will be. But now that we're up to speed with basically how they're trying to frame this deck of playing cards, I'm just going to unveil my original guess, my original like educated guess behind like whether or not this like whole blacklisted casino was legit or not before I even got the deck of playing cards, right? Because that was pretty much important, because if the story was not legit, then they're pretty much selling a scam. And so I was curious whether or not the story would be true. So I did a few educated guesses here and there, right? So the very first thing that sort of tipped me off as that it was a legit casino deck I don't know why I did like the bunny ears. It is a legit casino deck. I'm just gonna start off saying it right now. Is that I checked the printing date, and to check the printing date of a deck of playing cards, if you actually look at an ace of spades, you'll see that there is a code, and usually this code will be a letter followed by a series of numbers, and this letter will dictate when this deck was printed. In this case, in certain pictures of the B Lotus Casino, you'll actually see that it is an X, and X, as mentioned, is usually a deck that's printed in 2017. So a deck that's printed in 2017 will, well, it fits, right? They said that this was a deck that was printed in 2017, and it was a deck that was printed in 2017, so it all worked out. And so I checked little things like that, because if they lied about certain little things, little details, then who's to say that they didn't lie about the entire thing? So in this case, this was legit, so that was an interesting detail, so I moved on. If we look at the price, you'll notice that it is $350 USD, which is not that expensive considering that a normal deck of B playing cards is $3. So why is it 50 cents more? Well, usually when a casino is selling like their stock, their surplus of stocks, usually it's because they just have like too many playing cards or whatever, and so they print in bulk. So when they print in bulk, they just yeah, their main business isn't selling playing cards. Their main business is gambling. So when they sell their surplus, they usually just like make it just slightly more than the printing price. And since they print in bulk, it was pretty cheap to print like the deck of playing cards. And so yeah, when they sell it near like printing price. So $350 makes sense. And also, Conjuring Arts Research Center has their own playing card company, Expert Playing Card Company. And so why would they ever use USPCC to print a deck of playing cards, right? They wouldn't necessarily use it just to run like a casino scam type of deal, just to sell a deck of playing cards. They would use their own company. They would use Expert Playing Card Company. So just like the fact that the printing date just like fits, right? The printing date makes sense. The fact that the price makes sense. Again, it's only $350, so 50 cents more than a normal deck of B playing cards. That makes sense. And the fact that Expert Playing Card Company, Conjuring Arts Research Center, the company that's like selling these, has like, yeah, is the company behind it. So yeah, it just makes sense. It makes sense. So there's nothing that's off about this, and so I came to the conclusion that this was a normal like an actual casino deck, but I just didn't know whether or not it was an actual blacklisted casino from Asia. But then I got the cards, and on the brick box there was two words that basically changed the whole story. King's Roman. So this is where it gets uncomfortable. If you're not comfortable with any of the themes here, just feel free to click off. I won't take any offense. I don't blame you. I was pretty uncomfortable doing research into this too, so I don't blame you if you click off now. But yeah, I'll get into the story, the actual story behind these playing cards now. So King's Roman, or King's Romans is actually an organization. It's a Hong Kong registered but Chinese owned organization that runs the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone, so the GTSEZ for short. And so if you don't know what an SEZ is, it's basically a zone where it's basically like an area, like geographical area, where the laws are kind of different to basically allow business to grow and the economy to like grow as well. So it's basically this area where the laws are a bit different just to get the money. That's the general gist of what you should know about a SEZ. Now, the SEZ itself was actually the Golden Triangle. This Golden Triangle, this SEZ was actually established as a sort of collaboration from Laos, so LAOS, the Laos government, as well as as I mentioned before, the Chinese-owned but Hong Kong registered company, the King's Romans. Now, earlier on, I mentioned that the flower actually looks like a Bohemia flower more. And this was actually related, because if you actually look at the back design, you can actually see that there is actually a golden triangle, which fits with the fact that this comes from the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone. And you can actually see the Bohemia flower, which symbolizes the company's origins, because again, this is a Hong Kong registered company. So yeah, you can sort of see where the link is. So this whole back design actually circles back to the fact that its origins, where this casino is located and who the owners of this casino are. Now on paper, I realized that the symbolism doesn't sound that bad, but it's what's behind the symbol that is very sort of disturbing. So you're gonna need to prepare yourself for some stuff. The Golden Triangle is definitely something. I mean, the Special Economic Zone itself was actually built on stolen indigenous land, so that's already sort of bad, but you can actually see that a lot of workers aren't paid over there. So they're practically slaves, so they don't have any rights, they don't get paid, they're just slaves. And a lot of waste, a lot of toxic waste, it just gets dumped out into the wild. It gets dumped out into the streams, it gets dumped out everywhere. So it's just basically this polluted place that's kind of lawless. But where it goes deeper than that is that it's sort of, again, it's lawless, but it's not, it's like, besides the pollution, it also extends to stuff like illegal substance production, illegal substance trafficking, human trafficking. So yeah, but the worst part is that this human trafficking actually also includes children. So it is very disgusting in a way, in every way. I mean, it's just, yeah. There's also wildlife trafficking, so any like near extinct species, you can find them there, or for whatever reason, I don't know. But basically, people are being lured there with the false promise of being like having livable wages or having good wages. So for example, like some people just go in, they're having trouble with their financial situation, and so they get lured in like, oh yeah, don't worry about your family, don't worry about your life, look, we'll pay for all of that, here, you can have this house too, you just have to make sure to meet our quota for the company, and as long as you meet this quota, it's gonna be all fine. Here, look at this guy, he's making so much money, here, it's gonna be so easy. What's the quota? Oh, don't worry about it, you're gonna meet it so easy, just sign this contract and then everything's going to be fine. But the thing is that the quota is impossible to meet, so they can't do anything. What's like, if they can't meet the quota, well, they're gonna have to meet it in another way. And so how are they gonna meet it? Well, they're just gonna sell themselves. They're gonna sell themselves to whoever visits the place, and so it's just not the best. It's just an overall disgusting situation. Now, I do have to give a quick reminder, just because, the people who accepted that contract, they weren't stupid, they were just extremely desperate. If you ever found yourself in a hopeless situation, even if there was just like a 1% chance, right? A 1% chance of getting out of that situation, you would take it, right? I mean, some people just aren't as like fortunate as you and I. I mean, they took that 1% chance, and in the end, it didn't really pay off, and that can happen. That can happen to you, to me, or to like anyone. So I just want to give that as a sort of quick reminder that, you know, it's just that things happened, and you know, yeah. Now, the owner of the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone, or at least the owner of the King's Romans company, I can't really pronounce his name. It's Zhao Wei, I think. I can't really speak Mandarin. I'm a Cantonese person, but yeah. So he definitely has a history. He actually engages in bribery. He engages in money laundering. And he also has connections to higher-ups in the government and whatnot, which is how he's still able to roam free. And so generally, the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone is just a place for rich people to go to and be outside of the law. And because of these connections, well, who's to stop them? Who can really stop them? It's just, you know, they bribe people, and so any decent person would have already been unfortunately gotten rid of, right? Anyone who attempts to sort of expose it, well, they mysteriously disappeared. And so it's just a horrible situation behind the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone. So in 2018, in January 2018 rather, the US government actually blacklisted them, right? They blacklisted the entire area. They blacklisted Jia Wei and his affiliates, so his company. So anyone affiliated with him or the company or like his entourage, I assume, is prohibited from making any sort of like transaction or economic thing with the US. So in which case, the timeline all fits. These playing cards were printed in 2017, and since they were blacklisted in 2018, well, technically the end of 2017, it makes sense that now they weren't able to purchase any of these playing cards. And so these playing cards were just basically stuck in the US with no one to care about until Conjuring Arts Research Center just stumbled on upon the playing cards. And so now some ad copies actually say that the casino is dead, that the playing cards actually outlived the casino, but that's just not true. It's actually the opposite. The casino is thriving. The King's Romans casino is thriving to like the max, so much so that the Golden Triangle Special Economic Zone is actually looking to expand its borders. It's just like, despite all those like human rights violations and whatnot, it's still going to expand, and that is sort of a sad thing to see, because it just means more people will be affected, and it just means that, you know, a lot of people will be sacrificed along the way. So what can you do? Unfortunately, there's not really much you can actually do, because I mean, we're all people like outside of, I mean, not even like the country, but outside of the continent. So again, like the US blacklisted them, and that's pretty much the only thing that they can really do. Boycotting these cards won't do anything as well, because the company already paid for them. They paid for them with their corrupt money, the money that they probably that they got really from dirty means. So they already paid for them. So whether or not you boycott them, well, they already paid for them, and so they're blacklisted from buying these cards. So whether you or not you boycott them or not, they're still going to be here, and not a single cent will be given to that company. But so boycotting them won't do anything. But you do have to note that human trafficking is everywhere. It's not just in Asia, it's not just in Laos or China or whatever, right? It's not just over there, it's everywhere. It's in America, it's basically, it could be near you as well. You just don't know it, but there's just it's kind of hard to track down. But there are organizations dedicated to sort of trying to get people out of those situations, get people to, you know, raise awareness, try and take down people who are trying to human traffic and whatnot. And so I'll leave the organizations down below in the comments. And so if you really want to help out, just donate to them and, you know, fund those organizations instead of just buying a deck of playing cards. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I bought these to tell a story, and I'm telling it right now. So yeah. Now I know that this is really different from my usual content, I definitely realize it, but I bought these playing cards just out of curiosity, and yeah, it satisfied my curiosity, and I got more than I ever thought I would. But yeah, I bought these, so I think I had a sort of responsibility to sort of unveil everything behind it. But that's about it for this video. Yeah, I don't know how else to end this video. It's a pretty depressing story, but yeah, just feel free to support any of the organizations down below, and or people, right? Organizations or people. And so yeah, just see you guys next time, I guess. Yeah, and stay safe and stay healthy. That's the two most important things, actually. So yeah.